My new friends over at Power Urus sent me, believe it or not, a complimentary 100 amp hour lithium battery to have and use in my videos. And I will admit, at first, I thought the lithium hype was just hype. I thought it was double the price for no reason. I started with a lead acid deep cycle 55 amp hour. I've ran out of battery many times. I have been towed home and I've had range anxiety. But with the lithium 100 amp hour, that's all gone away. I'm gonna make a lithium versus deep cycle. I keep saying a lithium versus lead acid comparison and explain why lithium is definitely worth the price, especially if your main method of propulsion on your little boat, like mine is a trolling motor. So this video is gonna be particularly talking about the battery working in my boat and a trolling motor. Now, here's another thing. Let's go ahead and talk about why I will never have range anxiety again. I'm gonna tell you a crazy day I had where I caught a big redfish, but mostly I drove about 5 miles in my boat, no problem. But this battery right here actually pairs with a smart app. So my camera's in manual focus, so you're not really gonna be able to see it right now, but I'm reading my battery's information. So right now, we still have a total voltage of 13.2 volts. It's at 50% power because I fished for I believe it was 4 hours, and I only anchored once. So that was 4 hours of moving, and my battery is at 50%. So range anxiety is non-existent because if you can drive 5 miles and fish all day like I did, you're not gonna worry about it. But if you do get a little bit worried about it, you can get the app, which is absolutely free. It comes with it. You just gotta charge your battery all the way up, connect to it via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or however that works, and you can see exactly how much power you have. But that's pretty cool. They also advertise an absolute minimum lifespan of 5 years for this battery, which is already significantly more than a lead acid, and you'd be spending the same amount of money. But the cool thing about this is they have a 5-year warranty. 5 years, anything happens to your battery, it can be replaced under warranty. So that's pretty awesome. And these batteries, I've been looking at online forums and stuff like that. I've heard of them lasting up to a decade, which seems like a stretch, but that is absolutely, regardless, longer than any sort of lead acid battery is going to last. Now, I'm not going to give out all the information because I do want to make an in-depth lithium versus lead acid video, but the discharge rate is a little bit different. So if you hit 50% battery capacity on your lead acid, you're going to be running probably right at 12 volts. And if you go down to 49%, you could be running 11.9 volts, underpowering your motor and slowing down. But this bad boy will, I believe, run full power up to about 80-90%. Then it starts tapering off quicker, but you can really almost drain this battery with still holding full power. That was my biggest complaint with my last battery, is the more I fished, the slower I went. But not with this guy. Now, I'm not a battery guru YouTube channel, but it has smart chips in here to make sure it's safe. No matter what you do to it, it's gonna try its best to not damage itself, even if you try really hard. So that's nice to know. But I do want to mention, obviously, that we are pretty much talking about trolling motor batteries. I have a list right here. You can use them in RVs. You can use them, of course, boats, trolling motors, solar power. We've got a few more here that's kind of interesting. Motorized wheelchairs, RVs and trailers, yachts, solar off-grid systems, emergency backup power. However, this is not a starting battery. Do not use this as a starting battery for your boat or car. You'll want a regular battery for that purpose. But I don't know why you would use this for a starting battery. They also advertise their quality inspection per product, their quality control, and apparently, they say, it's fireproof. So my lead acid battery at 55 amp hours weighed about 45 to 50 pounds, which is pretty heavy for a tiny little battery. This has double the capacity, 100 amp hour, lithium, and it's only 30 pounds. So it's about 15 to 20 pounds lighter for double the capacity. So it is nicer to have a lithium battery, especially when you live on a top floor apartment like I do, and you gotta carry it all the way down to the truck and then put it in the boat and do all that. That adds up when you're doing it dang near every single day. So I do greatly appreciate the lighter weight. That's much better. So you can check them out in the link in the description to get all the information. I'm not a battery YouTube channel. I'm not going to bore you with all the details that I don't even understand myself. All I care about is how does this thing perform on the boat. So let me show you a route I took on a video I already posted. Let me switch screens here. So this is a nautical map site I use to mostly planned trips, because before, when I had the lead acid, I had to really, really be careful and pay attention. And in fact, I went from point A to point B here, and then that's when I died. But let me show you this route that I took that is a total of 4.4 miles at the minimum. Keep in mind, I didn't anchor pretty much most of the day. I was floating around in this hole for a lot of it, so it was really close to 5 miles. But here is a boat ramp right here. I drove all the way down here, around the bend, boom, to point B, and that alone is a little over 2.1 nautical miles. And I believe nautical miles are actually a little bit longer than actual miles, so maybe it was really right at 5 true miles. Anyway, I fished in here, floated all around. I was kind of checking the spots. So I was, using the trolling motor power all through here for hours. And then I'd brush over here. I think I did anchor at this point. But then, of course, whoopsie, I had to drive all the way back out. Now, this is way, way shallow, super shallow, as you can see. It's like 0 foot. It's not really. It's about, a few inches. But my boat can handle it. Go all the way around here where it's super shallow, even too shallow for my boat, believe it or not. Took a pit stop in this little cove right here. Fished for a while. I mostly drifted. I didn't use too much battery in here, so that's already at 3.7 miles. And of course, I have to go all the way back up to the ramp, which I couldn't really drop it right where I wanted it to be. There we go, 4.5 nautical miles. And I don't exactly know how much battery I had left after this, because the meter I have built into my boat actually does not work with lithium. I need a new meter system. But I had plenty of power and felt pretty confident. And I just went home, charged it up. It only took a little bit to get charged all the way back up, and I was good to go. So this route basically dropped my lead acid to 0 at 55 amp hours. Wasn't at 0, but I was running at 10 volts because I was in the last probably 30% of it. And the lithium really, really it's absolutely changing the game, because I can go so much farther with so much more confidence. I can hit this hole right here, which is a super good spot to fish. I can do all sorts of different things. Literally probably go, realistically, even though it's only about a 45 amp hour difference, realistically, I can probably go triple the distance. So that's a pretty awesome thing to have, and I just absolutely love this battery. All right, last thing really quick, in case you're wondering why range is so incredibly important to me. This is a app that I have, or a website subscription I have. It basically shows you some of the best spots in town, but I just wanted to quickly show you the Smart Spot key here so you can see the importance of having the extra range. So let me go ahead and turn on the boat ramp filter. So if you see, a red hot spot and you're like, man, I really want to hit that, but you can't really, because you've got a trolling motor powered boat with a lead acid battery that might be 100 amp hours, but really it's kind of a gamble. You don't want to get stuck going 1 mile an hour, out in the middle of here somewhere. So this was the exact route I showed you before. You launched here, went all the way back up into here. So it's very important for me to have the extra range, because before I got stranded here, got towed home, but now I can hop up and I can really crush some trout and some redfish. In fact, that's the same spot I caught the redfish. But now I've unlocked the ability to not only go here, but I can go here and explore all of this and then make it all the way home. So that's just a quick example of something I wanted to show you about how important it is to have a good amount of range. Let's find a different day here. All right, so for example, before launching here, driving past the bridge, up through the point, all the way up into here, drifting all the way back and going all the way back up in the bayou is the route I actually took I believe it was yesterday. So we went from here, all the way up here, all the way down. We kind of drifted, but we drove way back up in here, and I easily would have been dead by the time I reached here. But we were able to come all the way back out, drift down, and then kind of make another drift because we saw some good fish we wanted to catch. So just being able to unlock the ability to hit these further away spots is a big, big thing. I can't remember exactly. I know this doesn't look that far, but it actually kind of is a decent distance for little tiny boats that are trolling motor powered like ours. I'd be a little sketched out launching here, driving all the way down, making that whole drift, and then driving all the way back up, possibly against a tide, a current, wind, whatever, because I am in the bay here, so I really need that extra power and peace of mind because I'm not just fighting distance, I'm fighting wind and current. So now I've unlocked the ability to take advantage of this hotspot right here and comfortably fish it. Also, it's springtime, so some of these creek mouths are actually going to be really, really good. And I've launched, I believe it was right here before, and we had the 55 amp hour. We were driving down. We made it to about here and had to turn around because we were dropping battery quick. But with the 100 amp hour, I could comfortably go all the way down here, kind of drift with the current, not use too much power, fish this creek mouth, and then full power all the way back up. I know it because I've done half of it. I know how long it takes, and I've spent 6 hours on the boat before using the battery all day, and somehow it just doesn't drain. If you use it on less than full power, you're going to get a lot more out of it. If you just full blast all the time, of course, it's going to last a little bit less, but it all depends on the conditions and what you want to do. For me, I have to be smart and usually use the current or wind to help push me one way so I can be a lot more efficient and really trek all the way back. So if you plan accordingly, you look at the weather, you know what's going on, you know how to use the elements to your advantage, you can seriously, seriously cover some ground in a tiny boat like the ones we have, like you probably never thought was possible before, but trust me, I have done it. That is for sure. Anyway, guys, huge thanks to Power Eurus for sending me this battery. I absolutely cannot thank them enough. Thank you guys for watching to make this whole thing possible. Without you guys watching, they wouldn't have sent it to me, and without them sending it to me, I would not have been able to unlock all these fun new adventures and videos. So I greatly appreciate all of you, and I'll see you next time.